And our news states right here, JP Morgan recognizes Ripple or XRP as a heavy weight. And that's coming from our news source right here, Times Tabloid. All right. Now, what if I told you that the biggest bank in the United States, an absolute titan controlling over $3 trillion in assets, just quietly pulled back the curtain and admitted exactly who they think is going to rule the future of global finance? Right? We aren't talking about a rumor. We aren't talking about a random tweet from an anonymous account. We are talking about official primary source documentation straight from the powerhouse itself, JP Morgan. A massive wave of excitement just hit the crypto community after a highly respected analyst and crypto researcher known as Smoke right here shared a hidden gem on X. This document details a high-level, closed-door financial summit where JP Morgan didn't just mention Ripple. They explicitly classified them under a title that has sent shockwaves through the entire banking industry. They called them a heavyweight. So in this video, we are dissecting this document piece by piece to understand why the banking elite is finally saying the quiet part out loud. All right. So let's start with our very first question about why did JP Morgan put Ripple on the same level as Wall Street elite? The documentation shared by the analyst right here points directly back to a specialized financial conference called Money 2020. Inside JP Morgan's official review of the event, under a section dramatically titled Money Reimagined, the banking giant openly stated that heavyweights from Ripple, EM Tech, and Deloitte shared their perspectives on how money could be reimagined. So my personal opinion, when a legacy institution like JP Morgan puts Ripple in the exact same sentence as Deloitte, one of the big four accounting firms in the entire world, it completely destroys the mainstream media narrative that crypto is just a playground for retail speculators. So to me, as a long-time market observer, this is a massive validation. JP Morgan doesn't hand out the term heavyweight lightly. They are acknowledging that Ripple is no longer just a tech startup trying to break into the system. Ripple is the system now. They are sitting at the big kids table, rewriting the rules of global liquidity while everyone else is sleeping. Right? Now, what does money reimagined actually mean for the future of CBDCs? The JP Morgan report goes deep into how global finance is splitting into two distinct tracks. On one side, you have developed economies trying to build central bank digital currencies or CBDCs, like the digital dollar and the digital euro. Right? On the other side, you have developing nations looking at decentralized finance and stable coins to provide banking to millions of underserved people who don't even have a traditional bank account. JP Morgan notes that Ripple was leading the conversation on how to fix global infrastructure, privacy concerns, and low broadband access. All right. So, in my opinion, this tells me that the financial elite have realized traditional banking has hit a brick wall. They cannot solve the world's remittance problems using 50-year-old software like Swift. They need a bridge. They need an asset that moves at the speed of light. And that is exactly where XRP shines. So my view is that Ripple isn't trying to fight central banks. They are positioning themselves to be the plumbing underneath every single central bank digital currency on Earth. If you control the plumbing of the global financial system, you control the flow of money itself. Now, why is verifiable documentation changing the whole narrative? What makes this discovery by the analyst so powerful is that it completely skips the usual crypto hype. The analyst simply found the original archive on JP Morgan's own website. They took the screenshot and let the primary source do the talking. There's no speculation needed when the biggest bank on Wall Street writes it down themselves. So, we have entered a completely new era of market awareness. For years, retail investors have been fed constant FUD and negativity by regulators. But as a market observer, I always say, follow the smart money, not the loud voices. When you see verifiable proof that the very banks pretending to ignore crypto are actually sitting in a private panels studying Ripple's infrastructure, it tells you everything you need to know. It's like a massive puzzle where the pieces are finally locking into place. The institutional adoption isn't coming in the future. It is already here, hidden in plain sight, inside bank prospectuses. Right? Now, how do we connect the dots to the ultimate global takeaway? When you look at the macro picture, Ripple has spent nearly a decade quietly building compliance, securing licenses, and forming deep relationships with payment providers across every continent. Being labeled a heavyweight by JP Morgan is simply the public recognition of a long-term plan coming to fruition. So my conclusion on this entire situation is that the bridge has been built and the gatekeepers are getting ready to cross it. XRP was designed from day one to handle institutional grade volume. When a financial superpower like JP Morgan categorizes you alongside legacy giants, they are signaling to the rest of the banking world that Ripple is a trusted, permanent fixture of the new economic landscape. The narrative is shifting from if banks will use digital assets to when, and Ripple is holding the master key. So, in summary, the latest document uncovered by Smoke is a historic milestone for the community. It provides undeniable primary source evidence that JP Morgan views Ripple as a dominant force in the future of digital sovereign currency and cross-border settlement. The era of dismissing this technology is officially over. The world's largest financial entities are acknowledging the true heavyweights of the digital age, and the infrastructure being built today will define the flow of wealth for generations to come. Alright, and this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one. Or you might just as well check this recommended video right here on our screen.